Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So when I did my wedding video using the Cricut the other week, a lot of people asked for a bit more of an in-depth tutorial on how to make the glasses or the decals for the glasses. So I'm going to do that today. So if you want to see how to do it, then just keep watching. Okay, so to start off with, we need to open up Design Space. So I'm just doing that. So just an FYI, I'm using my Mac. Obviously doing it on a PC is slightly different. You can also do this on the iPad or the Android app. Whichever way works is fine. But just so you know, there's no right clicking and everything because I'm using my Mac. So you're going to start a new project. And then this is probably the more complicated way to do it, but this is the way I really prefer to do it. So I'm grabbing my little text here and I'm just writing the first letter of what I want. So in this case, we're doing mother of the groom. So we want an M. And we want it to be a capital. So it'll pop up here in just a second. So then we need to change it to the font we want. And the one I'm using is called Autumn in November, which the only downside sometimes to this software is that it doesn't, if I type in AU, it won't go where I want it to. There it is. I just said to go full screen, so I'm just going to do that. So there's my M. Then I'm just going to copy it by just doing copy and then paste. And then just putting in all the other letters one by one. Now there is a way to make it do it on its own. Whoops, what did I do? There it is. Hit the wrong button. There is a way to make it sort of, you can write just the whole words and it'll link them up. But I always find it looks a bit funny, whereas this way I can position the letters so that they fit where I want them to fit, as opposed to where the software wants it to fit. So there's mother. Okay, so there are all our letters. Now the fun part is joining them all up together. So I zoom in really close for this. And I put them down on a line where I want them to sit, and then I join them up by linking them like this. Now some of them look better than others. Some of them, and this is where the fun of being able to do it letter by letter is because sometimes it just doesn't quite look right if you line it all up here. So for example, that's cutting over on the T and I don't want it to, so I'm slipping it just below. But it'll sort of come back on that line along the way. It doesn't have to be completely straight. You can sort of have it that fun way, because remember, when you join these up, you can sort of rotate them to get them where you want it. So we just continue doing that all along. So once you're happy with where they're sitting, you can then, I just don't like that. There we go, that's better. Then you can go ahead and weld them together. So highlight all of the letters that you want. And then go here to weld. That's now one item. So it's stuck together. I can't unstick it. You can see there's no gaps between my letters, which is just really important. But I can unweld it just by hitting undo, and it'll unweld that. So just do the same thing with all of these. Then the last thing we want to do is make sure that these sizes are right. So all of my letters on all my other glasses have all been about 2.5 centimeters high. So I'm just going to make that the same rough size. And then you can kind of work out where you want it to sit. So in my case, I'm going to have it do mother and then of the and then groom. This part's completely optional because you can either do it so it cuts it out in this shape and then it's easier obviously to pick up and transfer, or you can just cut them as words and then redo them on the glass, which is like what I like to do anyway. So the last little bit that I have been doing with the others is just putting the name of the person on there. So in this case, Ryan's mum's name is Alison. And I've been doing this in my typewriter font. And then I'm just making that a little bit smaller. So I've just been doing these at about 1. So you want it to be smaller than everything else, but still obviously noticeable. Actually, that's probably a bit big. Make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So then that's all done. Again, it comes down to personal preference if you want to cut this or group this up now so it cuts exactly like that on the Cricut. I actually like it not cutting exactly as it's going to be on the glass because it means I can play with it a little bit more. So I'm going to hit make it and it's going to put it onto my mat. Now I just like, because I'm going to cut out a bunch of, have a lot of vinyl on here anyway, I just like to space these out a little bit more. The Cricut tends to put it really close together. I like to give it a bit more room just so that it feels a bit more spread out. This is something I didn't know you could do, that you could actually move things on the mat. You can move them to different mats, you can spin them around. If you've only got a certain shape of vinyl to use, then you can do this, but I really like doing it this way. So then we hit continue and we go and turn on our Cricut and we're going to cut this out. Okay, so before we cut it out, we're just going to grab our vinyl and set up our mat. Obviously, as everything in my house, my mats are covered in dog hair. It hasn't hurt it yet, but I'm sure it will at some point. So the vinyl I'm using is this Metamark sign vinyl. I bought this from Scats Cats here in Melbourne. You can buy them online. I love them. This is my favourite kind of vinyl. What I have found out since I bought it and since I've been using it on my glasses, it's probably not the best vinyl to use. It's not permanent. It's probably going to come off in a dishwasher. However, what I'm going to tell all my people who are using these glasses is please hand wash them. Please don't dishwash them. And then they should be fine. As long as you don't scrub it, I can't see any problem. So I'm just cutting a little strip. Shush, Siri. Sorry, Siri, I was leaning on my watch, so Siri thinks something's going on. So I've just cut a little 2-inch, kind of, a little bit more than 2-inch, strip of the vinyl, and I'm going to stick it down onto my mat. I'm just using the light mat. You don't need to use anything stronger than this for vinyl. Oh, I haven't found anyway. I'm sure if you use a really sort of extra strength sort of thing, maybe you will, but I haven't had any trouble just using the light mat. Just lining that up there and then sticking it down, and then we're going to put it into the Cricut. So I've just set that to be on premium vinyl. I just find it cuts a little bit nicer, and I'm using my fine point blade. So I'm just going to hit go, or hit load first, and then we're going to hit go. Done, so we're going to unload it. We're going to head straight back over to the desk. Right, so once we've got it all cut out and back on our desk, we need to remove this bit of vinyl. So way is always best to do it with a Cricut mat is always peel the mat from whatever you're printing or cutting, as opposed to the other way around, and then always put your protector mat straight back on top. Still get dog hair, but anyway. So this is adhesive vinyl. So rather than heat transfer vinyl, which you need to have flipped and then isn't going to stick, this is going to stick to basically everything. So what we need to do is remove, and it's a bit hard because it's white, so I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to see this at least a little bit. We need to remove the stuff that's not going to be stuck on anywhere. And I always have a little bit of trouble with this even when I have nails, but this isn't quite as complicated as it usually is. This is where all these awesome weeding tools come in handy. So the really good thing is with this vinyl in particular is it's actually got blue backing, so you are going to be able to see. So just need to be really careful when you're pulling off the excess, especially if you've got any eyes, because you sometimes lose your little dot at the top, which is a bit painful. Just be really gentle. Now, if something like that happens where it pulls all the way up, you need to just push it back down, give it a bit of a rub, which is going to get that to stick back down again. And hopefully when we do this, no, doesn't want to come off. Completely normal, just does this occasionally. So you just have to then sort of hold it down when you roll it off. There we go. Once you've got it down, it won't keep going. So it's just a matter of getting that first bit down. Uh-oh. There we go. This is the bit that I'm a little worried about because it's a little bit more simple, delicate. So my little eye's the really part that I worry, because I've lost a couple of eyes already and I don't really want to lose another one. What I'm going to do, just to make it a bit easier for myself here, I'm going to cut off this excess bit. So I'm just going to grab my scissors. So I know that everything that's there is already fine. I'm just going to give this a really good rub and then peel again. Okay, woohoo! That can be a bit fiddly. Not always, sometimes it comes off really smoothly. It just depends a little bit on the temperature of the day, a little bit on the vinyl you're using. I don't know, some days are better than others. So the next thing you need to do is weed out all the other bits. So that's anything that needs to be like the middle of a letter, so the O's or the F's. This can be tricky, picky, and kind of annoying. I kind of like it. I don't know why I enjoy weeding, but I do. But you just need to pick out everything that you can see. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. My little trick is knock everything first. So get it up or moved or whatever you need to do. It doesn't matter if it doesn't come out. And then go back over with the tweezers. And that way you're not flicking between tools as much. So we've got all of the little bits weeded out. I just always stick them to the back of my hand. That way they're all in one place. Otherwise they end up all over my floor, which, let's face it, everything does anyway. So then the transfer tape that I use is this big roll of, it's called Connect, I think. I bought this from Scats as well. I just find it really useful, like really, it does what I need it to do. I don't think I need to have, if I was doing anything really intricate, like crazy intricate, I'd probably be happy to use, or needing to use clear. But because this is a little, I can see through it, so it's not so bad. I just find this works really well. So I'm just using a tinsy little bit for the Allison bit, so I want to do that first. So I'm picking that up, putting that down on there. And then I'm just grabbing my little scraping tool. So I've only got the small one, and I'm just rubbing that straight over the top. And then just picking them up. Whoops. Sometimes it doesn't pick it all up on the first go. That's fine. Just rub it again. There we go. So we've got the words on there. So before we stick it down on the glass, we just need to prepare the glass a little. So this is just a normal champagne flute. I bought this from Ikea, but any champagne flute will do. What you want to do is just grab some alcohol rub. Wipes are fine too. This is actually one that we've used because it's got lipstick all over it. So I'm just wiping the top first, just because I want to clean it off. But then you need to find where you want to put it. You just need to give the surface a bit of a rub. And all that's doing is just preparing it for the sticky. And then you just need to let that dry. So I'm just leaving it, and I use the tape to sort of hold this where I want it. So I'm just going to let that dry just for a second. So once that sort of Give it a couple of seconds. Then you want to grab your words again, or your letters. And this is completely up to you. You can either put it all down with your transfer tape and then remove the transfer tape all at once, or you can do it sort of line by line. So I like to put what I want at the bottom first. That's my personal preference, and then I can work up. So I'm just putting the Allison down first. Give it a light rub with the scraper. And then just leave it for probably 30 seconds and then take the transfer tape off. So while that one's sort of drying, we'll grab the groom bit up. So this one I'm going to use the whole bit of tape here. So just repeat the process. Give it a good scrub and then pick her up. So I'll take this one off. Just be gentle with it. The scraping should have done a really good job of getting it down, but just in case, don't pull too fast. Anything that it hasn't maybe adhered as good as you like, just give it a light rub. And then we put the groom down and repeat the whole way up. Peel this one off. I'm just trying not to touch the glass too much, so I don't want to get my fingerprints all over it. You can reuse the bits if you want to. I'm just a bit wasteful when it comes to this, so I don't tend to. I think this whole thing maybe cost me $10, so I'm a little bit wasteful with it, which is not a good thing, but anyway. So Ryan just mentioned, because I went to go and do the mother, and he mentioned, why am I doing the mother now? So because I've got the groom and I want to put the mother at the top, I don't know how much room I've got in between. So I want to put the mother and then we can squish the of the in the middle. Got the mother. See, that one came up perfectly. Some of them just do. So just sticking that down. So obviously it's a slightly longer word, so it's going to wrap around a little bit further. I'll just leave that for a sec while we grab the of the. So for that, I'm actually going to cut this little bit in half. We don't need quite that much. I always get this enormous sense of accomplishment when I get everything off here without breaking it. It just makes me feel happy. Okay, so now we've got to work out where we put the of the. So this is sort of a bit of a suck it and see kind of thing. You can see through this. So you can see it's not a, okay, well that one's going to transfer straight there. So we're going to leave it there. It's not a completely non-see-through kind of tape, so you can see where you're putting it. I will say that probably using a see-through one might have been a little bit easier with this one, but it seems to have worked, so it's all good. There we go. Now that could have come in together a little bit more. I'm just going to see if I can pick this up. I don't know if I can. I've never tried this before, but see if I can get it back up again. See if we can move it over. I'm not going to hold my breath. I don't think it'll come up. No, I don't think I will either, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm actually going to leave it there. I don't think that looks bad. I just think it would look better if it was come over a little bit more. But there we go. We've got our little mother of the groom. Actually, what would look really cute in there is like a little heart. So I might do that later. I might do a little heart on there just for something different for Ali, because everybody else is going to be with me. Ali's obviously going to be with Ryan. So I did want her to have a glass though, so that she felt like as a part of everything. But I think that looks really cute. So that's my little way of doing a glass. It is a slightly complicated procedure. It's not simple by any stretch. You don't have to have the maker. You can use just an air and it will do the same job. You just need the vinyl, obviously, and the Cricut program. Any cutter will do the same thing. You don't need a Cricut. Sorry, I should have said that too. But really, really easy, pretty cheap. The vinyl didn't cost too much. The glasses didn't cost that much. And it's just a personalised little thing to have on your wedding day. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to be subscribed and also check out some of my other videos to do with my wedding DIY. I have done a couple along the way, so I'll link them down below for you. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!